I figured we just chill out, you know, not do anything too crazy, but just play some of the, I guess, forgotten legends in Brawl. Really, when I think of like the characters that I would say are like, oh yeah, nobody's really playing them or like people tend to forget about, I would have to say the ones that come to mind first is Zario, and then next would be Dusk. I feel like those two in particular don't get any love, and it's weird because I don't even think it's a, like, you know, it's not like they're bad. Like Jiro gets a lot more representation than these two, and it's like super strange to me because like neither of these are bad. I think it just has to do with like the fact that maybe they came out at a weird time and there were already better legends. Like, to be fair, they do each have their own problems. Now I think a big thing with the orb was that not many people were playing orb to begin with, and then when you add in the fact that orb has so many like insane legends, you know, they had Thor, they had Fate, those two legends like flat out outclassed Dusk. And then with Zario, I think a big problem with Zario is the SIGs dropping, and I think the SIGs are also a problem for Dusk as well, except it's not a dropping thing. It's more so like the SIGs actually just, they aren't like big. They're not even bad. It's just, and neither are Zario's. It's just the SIGs are like very, very pinpoint, and I think people don't really like that as much. Now, to be fair, the SIGs are like super, super quick. You just have to be able to place them, and I just don't see, I don't know. It's just still, it's always a question of like, okay, why play X character when I could play Y? And that's a really good question to ask. I think it's especially like a good thing to ask with a character like Zario and Dusk in particular, just because I think that's the dilemma a lot of people face. It's like, okay, well, I mean, you know, I play a lot of Spear, right? Why would I play Dusk when I could play Shang instead? Or if I could play like any Spear legend, and then there's Dusk. And again, it's not because he's bad, it's because the others are just better, which I guess in like retrospect, that kind of makes him bad if you look at it, like if you're comparing him to the other legends. But Zario, I think, is a little different. I think Zario is actually like really, really viable. I just think people, again, forget that the characters, even in the game, I mean, when you look at Gauntlet characters, I think that Zario has one of like, or just an insane side sig on Gauntlets. I think the bow sigs also are overall very, very strong. The stat spread as well, I mean, it's kind of up to you whether or not you want to take the minus dex. I mean, on Dusk, I do take minus dex, which gives another to strength, so that gives him a pretty solid stat spread. But then with Zario, I don't know, it's kind of hard because you could take the speed and then have 5 speed, which is what I personally do, or you could take the minus dex and I believe have 1 more strength, which is also very good in its own right. But they're just unique characters, and I don't know, I think when it comes in terms of like comparisons, it's just so hard. Like Brawlhalla has so many legends that choosing between, you know, Zario and like Mordex, it becomes like very hard, because it's like, okay, yeah, I could be playing Zario, but I also could be playing Mordex, I could be playing Petra, I could be playing Shang. And to be fair, it's like those are all very strong Gauntlet choices at the very least. And, you know, a lot more people might find Scythe to be a lot more fun. And I think that also is a part of it, is like weapon combination. I think bow gauntlets really isn't as appealing to people as, say, Gauntlet Sword, or maybe, what else? Gauntlet Scythe. And also like the character design. Like I don't think Dusk is the most insane when it comes in terms of like character design. I think a character like Petra is someone who's really good. I think Fate is really good when it comes to character design. So I think that's another big deterring factor as to why we don't see them. But I have a lot of fun with them. They're both really cool. Now, will I play them? I've played Dusk before in tournament, and I'm not against it. Like, I think Dusk can be very good. It's just, it takes a lot to make him work well, I personally think. Now, with that being said, am I like probably the best Dusk player? No, by no means do I think I am even close to being like the best Dusk player. I think there's someone out there who can I know there are people who can definitely play orb better than me. And then, you know, spear, I don't consider spear to be like the hardest weapon in the world to learn. It's definitely one of the easier ones, and it definitely has a lot of reward for the kind of reads you can get with it. So that's another big thing with the legends is the weapon combinations for sure. Does he get that? Oh, he gets that. But yeah, how you guys been? How's the day been? I've been chilling. I've been dealing with school. BCX is this week. I don't really have much else to say about these legends. You know, I got my points across, but I hope you all are doing well, staying safe during election times. It's looking like it's, I don't know. Obviously, you know, when I'm recording this, it's pretty late. It's like, what, almost 2 a.m. I need to be off to bed, but, oh, come on, give me this. I missed it. But, yeah, it seems like the election's kind of close, and it makes me wonder which way it's going to go. You know, not to get too deep into politics or whatever. I mean, I hope everyone voted. Yeah, I mean, it's just like I know there's gonna be discontent either way. So I just hope that I hope that everyone can like stay safe and you know they don't do anything, I guess, harmful. You know, if something I guess doesn't go your way, you know, obviously you can always protest and stuff. And I think that's a right to exercise, but. Just stay safe and don't be stupid, I guess, is what I'm getting at. Who is this guy, Schmiggy? Yes, Greatsword. I wonder if anyone's made like real big strides on playing against Greatsword. I like to think that I've done my due diligence at least to an extent. It is kind of hard because in 2s, not as many people are playing it. Now in 1s, there are a lot of people, but at the same time, you know, 2s is this weekend. Like me and Cody, we're obviously going for a win, and truth be told. The people mainly that stand in our way, I think, are obviously Boomy Sandstorm and then Snowy Zakoi as well. I think those guys are like a dark horse going into the tournament for sure. And it just makes me wonder, like, will we be ready? You know, we've played against, like I said, we've played against a couple of different Greatsword people. I've done my own practice. I'm sure Cody has done his own practice. It just makes me wonder, like, okay, am I going to be ready for the level of Greatsword that Sandstorm has? Because right now, I'm not too sure. I just think the biggest thing with Greatsword is that, like, when they get a hit on you, you can't really instantly retaliate, and you can't instantly, like, pull back. You have to kind of wait and see what's going to happen. Do I die? Okay, good. Oh, man. I just really hope that a character like this doesn't happen again. That'd be insane. Is he oh, no. Why did he throw that? I'm surprised he got rid of that. Okay, come on. Die? I love that 6 so much. That's like, that reminds me of a disc from Tron. All right. He gave in this stock. So be it. I'm going to keep gauntlets. Gauntlets are kind of my thing. I haven't been playing him too much. I've been only practicing Hattori, which is kind of weird. Like, I never thought I would be going solo Hattori this hard. I guess I don't want to say I gave up on Jaehyun. It's just in 2s, I'm confident enough about my Hattori and about my spear that I'm like, okay, there's no reason. Like, the person, if I practice Jaehyun, it's just for no good reason. Because when you think about it, it's like, okay, I'm going to be having to play against someone who's almost for sure going to outclass me in Greatsword. And that's not even, like, discrediting myself. That's just, like, fact. Like, Sandstorm has so much time put into that weapon. It's going to be hard for me to compete, so I'm not going to do a Jaehyun ditto. And, yeah, I'm just like, okay, well, if I'm not going to play Jaehyun there, then why play him at all, really? Because I feel good about my other picks. Oh, yeah, and you know how I said Zario and Dusk? Well, I thought about it, and I'm like, you know, this guy hasn't really been played at all. Like, I feel like out of all Canon Legends, this guy has been done so dirty. And it's funny because, like, I honestly think Lin Fei and Isaiah are both, like, really close, in my opinion, of being, like, just so irrelevant. But I think Isaiah has gotten no love, man, at all. Even Lin Fei, I think, has gotten some this year. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm just thinking, like, as far as tournament representation. I don't know play rates. Maybe I'm completely off. Maybe, like, play rates show that Isaiah is actually, like, played a good amount. But, and maybe Dusk, you know what, maybe Dusk and Zario have decent play rates too. I highly doubt it. But I think this guy's cool. I mean, really the only recollection or the only representation we've ever had of Isaiah is Boomy. And Boomy played Isaiah. He won Rotterdam with Isaiah. And then I think he got 9th at Worlds. So those are like the 2 tournaments he played Isaiah, and then they just changed canon, and he didn't like the change. I'm kind of speechless after that. I'm gonna give him this stock. I feel yikes, guy. I feel horrible. That guy just did himself so dirty, and he doesn't know this is a video. That's like the worst part of it. He's probably like, whatever. It's like late. No one's gonna like see it. Obviously, like he'll forget about this by tomorrow. It's like, nah, dog. It is so hopeless. We're gonna cap it off with a Dusk game. But what was I saying earlier? Before I got sidetracked by that guy absolutely ruining his whole night. Like that is, dude. I just imagine that happening in tournament with that bomb, that gadget. That would be. Just doing yourself like that is so sad. I mean, I could hit the nastiest combo and still wouldn't be as dirty. But yeah, what I was saying, like, yeah, Isaiah just has no representation now that Boomy's not playing it. And I think it's kind of unfortunate. And it's same with Dusk. Like, I had the one tournament where I played it against Cody, and then I just, like, didn't play it again. Like, Dusk representation was even shorter than that. And then as far as Zario goes, I don't even think Zario has seen the light of day in tournament, if I'm being honest. Like, you, at least the other 2, you know, they get to go outside every once in a while. They get to have fun. Now, Zario, dude, Zario gets just locked in, like, a closet. Just pushed in a box, like, the toy. You know the scene from Toy Story when, like, Woody's having a nightmare? And then, like, what's the kid's name? I know it's not Sid. Willie? Like, I don't know. I forget the kid's name. But, like, the kid, you know, it's like, oh, he has a dream. And then he's like, I don't want to play with you anymore. You know, I think that's a scene. And then he, like, throws Woody, like, into a box, and then Woody stays there forever or something. I forget. Andy, that's his name. Okay, who's naming their kid Andy, first of all? I think that's a more important question. I get if his name, like, was Andrew, but they never specify. That's some, like, lore. Maybe you Toy Story stans can tell me if his whole name was Andrew. It was probably Andy. Andy isn't a bad name. I shouldn't hate on Andy too much. There's definitely worse names, like, I don't know. Like, what's a worse name? God, what is a worse name? I don't know. You got people named, like, Charles. I don't know. Charlie's, like, a nickname for Charles, though. But Charles, that one's pretty... That's pretty, bad. What about Bob? Okay, I take it back. Charles is pretty good. Charles is good depending on the person. That's the thing. Like, sometimes you get these absolute cornballs that have these, like, names that make you think they're part of, like, the royal family or something, right? And it's like, you see these guys, and it's like, you haven't seen the light of day since, like, 2010, have you? And that's what I don't get. When, like, basically what I'm saying is when the name doesn't match the face. That was probably, like, a terrible analogy, but that's kind of what I was getting at. And how is this guy keeping it close? I'm going to Dusk D-Sig him. This is, like, you know how in Cross D-Sig, like, Boomy calls that the Hand of God? Or I guess he dubbed that the Hand of God. Well, yeah, Dusk D-Sig is the... I don't know what to call it. But it is a demon move. It is... You get hit by that, I mean, you know, just, like, literally, you do this. You leave the game, and you don't rejoin. But for the sake of the video, I'm going to rejoin, because I have a game to win. And he still didn't even take my stock, man. I am just... That's the amount of respect that I garnered from my opponent, Rich. Rich. Is Rich a bad name? I think Rich is okay. I mean, what am I saying? My name's Vincent. I mean, Vincent's okay. Like, Vinny, I have a lot of... See, here's the thing. I have a lot of nicknames. Vincenzo, you know, Vinny, Vince. I think they're all pretty fire nicknames. Like, and what I like about it is that everyone calls me, like, a different thing. So it's like... You know, I have the options. I think having you know what? Forget having an actual name, dude. From now on, my kids, I'm only gonna give them nicknames. Like if I ever have children, only nicknames. They're not gonna have like a full name on their birth certificate. It's gonna be blank. Can you imagine that though? Being born without a name. I feel like being born without a name, like that's just some like, you know, like A tier names. I don't know, like some like real fancy stuff. Like you know, something real suave. And then I don't know, like Francois, dude. Like, that's an A-tier name. Francois? Like, who is named Francois aside from the most beautiful men in the world, you know? Aside from the most beautiful people to ever grace the planet. But S-tier? S-tier is just having no name nowadays. Like, I think that's the future. I think in the future, people are just not going to have names. And I think in the future as well, we're going to see no Dusk. We're going to see no... Where's it at? We're never going to see this guy. Let's be real. We're never going to see Isaiah again, probably, and we're never going to see Zario. I think those three Like, and if you also look, I mean, it's like from what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 3 out of the 6 legends in this span for some reason were just oddly forgettable, and dare I say oddly like kind of bad. Like right now, Lin Fei, bad. Jiro, don't even get me started. Rayman, you know, yeah, like he's pretty good. But that does it for the video. I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.